Hey guys, welcome to Cube Dudes. My name is Ryan, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on solving 3x3x9. So this is the Wit-Eden puzzle. It's the version 1, and it is one of my favorite puzzles to solve. Really great, well-built puzzle. I gotta give credit to Wit-Eden. It turns pretty well, and it's pretty good. So, I learned this method from my friend Justin, who taught me this, so I'll be calling it the Justin method. And this is, I find this better and more easily understood than normal keyboard methods, which is why I'm going to be teaching it today. So, you're going to need a 3x3x9. This works with the V2 with just a minor difference, in which the centers on the top and bottom are also divided into 3. But this is one of my favorite puzzles, so I will be teaching you the Justin method for it. There's a special way that you have to scramble this puzzle. So the first step is going to be kind of moving around the slice layers a lot, which is kind of intuitive. But then you do only R2 or F2, or just any moves in combination of 2. Because if you scramble it as a 3x3 too early, without doing enough scrambling to the slice edges, then it will be bandaged and the solve will be much simpler. And we don't want that. So I'm scrambling it by the slice edges, doing turns of 2. It's very random. And then, once you think it's sufficiently scrambled, you can just, I'll do a little bit more. Then you can just start scrambling it as a 3x3. So here we go. This is our scramble. Also, it looked a little bit like a bookshelf when it was scrambled like this. So let's get going. And the first step is to solve the centers. So the very first step is to get all the centers aligned right. What I mean by that is so that they're kind of all in a row like that. So yeah, so just so that the layers are kind of horizontal. The next step is to find the sets of 3 that belong in the E slice and just put them in kind of with a sort of inserting move so that they go along and the slice continues on the center layers. And this can be done any way whatsoever, just as long as they get in there. So now, it's fairly intuitive, but I will still show you, because it may not be intuitive to everyone, how to do the centers. So, first thing we're going to look for is a pair of 2 with another one that's easily put in. So I see this one, I put it into the layer that has the blue, and I put it in. The first center is always going to be the easiest. Then the next thing I see, and red's already done for me, so the next thing I see is this setup. So first what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring one of the edges over. Here, let me do that in a better angle. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to bring one of the edges over, flip this, and bring it back. Now it'll look like this. So what you do is you turn this twice, bring it up, bring it back. Pretty great. So this next step, solving the E-sliced edges, is going to be the most similar to 5x5 of all the steps. So first things first, you're going to find, here's a good case. So there are a few cases that you can look out for. So there's the one where 2 are flipped and the third one's over here. That's simple. You can do this, do your favorite flipping algorithm, and bring the slice back. Now you're not going to be able to do any kind of free slicing or anything like that on this cube. It just simply will not work. So again, slice, and return. It's pretty good. Now all the edges are solved. There are more cases like that, but it's pretty easy to figure out. Like I said, you should have a good understanding of 5x5 if you're solving this cube. Alright, so the next step is to begin the first 3x3 stage. Now this is a little bit special. So this is technically a super cube in that you have to be careful of center orientation. So first step, you just do whatever solving method you like. And you don't really have to get completely solved. You just have to get it to a point where its edge orientation is done and everything's kind of in its... Basically, if you use CFOP, you can just finish OLL and then you'll be done. If you use another method, just make sure that M-slice edges are in their spots and that everything is oriented correctly so that all the bandage pieces are on the top. It's not a hard stage, and you can probably figure out exactly where you need to get to afterwards, because I sometimes do sort of a beginner's style method for this just out of ease and non-necessity. So then you'll have it looking like this, where all the slices will be aligned, all the bandage parts will be on the top and bottom, and the entire area over here will be solved. So this essentially is now a 3x3x7. So the next step is to get the up-down edges. So what I mean by that are the edges in pairs of 3 that are connected to a bandage piece like this on the up or down face. So first step is I like to find one that's almost solved and that can easily be solved. So for example, I'm going to use this set of green. I'm going to bring over this piece and bring it up. What I can do is, since I know this piece is here, I'll knock this thing over, bring and replace this edge with this edge by bringing this up and bring it in. So that way that gets matched up, and now there are 2 reds right here. So the next step, what I'll usually do is I'll find a red thing. So I'll knock this out, flip this up, and bring it back in. Knock this out, flip, bring this in. Knock this out, bring this in. You can use solved layers for this if the color that you're knocking out is the same as the color of the solved one. Like you saw that I just knocked out a blue one into a blue set. So that is okay. It will work. So now we have 3 more. Let's bring them all close to each other. So here they are. First what we'll do is we'll bring this over so this is matched up. Then we'll flip this so that'll put everything into groups of 2. Everything was just matched up there. So now what we'll do is a similar thing. You knock this out so that it matches up with the red, and you flip this down, and it brings the green and the orange over at the same time. So now all of the up-down edges are solved. So you can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. The next step is to solve the corners into pairs and triplets. This is one of the most confusing steps, and it is also one of the ones that you need an algorithm for. So the first I'm going to show you what it is that is going to be happening, what the effect of the alg is. So there's the algorithm that you're going to have to learn. We'll move things around from this corner to this corner to this corner in a kind of cycle effect. That's going to be down front right to down front left to up back right. So the algorithm, and in this algorithm you're going to see U. U is only the layer that you're doing. So if it's the second layer in that you're moving, you're going to do the second layer of U, like this. Alright, so the algorithm is U prime L2 U, R2, U prime, L2, U, R2. So what that does is cycles this piece from here to here, this to here, and that to there. So we just solved 2 corners. So what we'll do is we'll keep solving. We'll keep looking for different cases we can do. Okay, so we see this. We can bring this piece in the 3rd layer over to this to knock out this. So we want to find the other piece that looks like this, so this will also match up. You want to try and match up as much as possible in any given thing. So here we go. Put this there. So now we'll apply the algorithm on the 3rd layer. So there we go. Solves that and solves that. So the next step is to pair the corners up into pairs of 3. We were just doing pairs of 2, so now we just need to do the same thing, but with wide turns. So see, we can bring this over to here, and then we see this corner here, so we'll bring this over to the top, back, left. Now we'll apply the algorithm doing 2 layers at a time. See, there we go. So now that all the corners are paired up, with or without parity, we can now begin the final 3x3 stage. Now remember, this solves like a super cube, so keep that in mind. Easiest thing to do, well, this solves like a partial super cube, I should say, because only the slice centers are tripled up. So the best way to go about this is just have them in the solve the centers to the right orientation in the cross, and just, you know, not mess them up. Also, you should do pure beginners for solving this. Pure beginners last layer for solving this, just so that it doesn't mess with the centers, because those don't mess with centers. I found from experience that using like full PLL sets or whatever usually mess with the centers. Here we go. Now we have 2 parodies to solve. So the algorithm that I'll be using for these parodies now, you can see there are 2 different types of parodies, which is pretty lucky for the tutorial. There's a single and there's a double. Now these are both very easy to take care of. It's just a simple alg. It's the same as the normal parody alg. Whatever parody alg you use is fine. I'm not going to read one out because you may use a different one if you solve big cubes. You have to do it in slice turns. You can't just do like full edges, because that'll swap corners as well, and that's bad. And there we go. You've solved the 3x3x9. So that's how you solve it. This is a pretty good method. I am fond of it. I like it. This is what I use personally. I think it's better than like normal cuboid methods. Just for this one, less algorithms, and it's more kind of, it's a different style of solving. It's a lot more like a big cube. again, credit does go to my friend Justin for coming up with this method. That's why I've called it the Justin method. He hasn't picked a name for it yet. So credit to him. He's also the person who suggested I get this puzzle, and it's brought me a lot of entertainment. So I absolutely recommend that you get this puzzle and start messing around with it. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this tutorial or have suggestions on how to make the method better, please leave them in the comments. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and tell your friends, and see you next time. Bye.